Well, we'll at least have a, we'll at least have a fine recording of what could well be the last Wild Bob and Ronnie show. Except
What?
Except on the UGG TV.
Right. I'm gonna try to collect from John Bond tomorrow. I guess, you know, if I do, I'll see if he wants to continue on
Yeah,
the internet.
make him a little better deal.
Huh?
Make him a little better deal.
Well, he'll get, I just tell him we give him a little bit
All
more
right,
advertising. We
you
ain't
go
gonna
live
pay
here
no
in
more.
a second.
We're getting ready to be a star there, Bob.
You're live.
We're on there. Tell them who
Hello,
we are.
folks.
We're on early, but we may be gone forever after tonight.
Yeah, welcome to 2014. Just pleased to have you, and I hope you're planning on having a great New Year's.
Yeah, we're all hoping.
Did that right. I got my fingers crossed. So I'm not a crook.
Yeah. Says who?
Oh Lord, you know, we had a pretty good show last night on TV. We had our resident scholar.
Our knowledge base was with us.
Yeah.
If you ever want to watch us again, you may have to go to UGG TV. That's just like it says on the screen there, www.ugtv.tv.
That's UGG TV.
And we're on, and you can watch us. And if you have any trouble figuring out how to find it, call me. I'll help you get on and watch the show. We have a right interesting show, and we're not, you know, we can kind of do more like we want to do, and I highly recommend it.
Well, I do too.
Even if Bob does do it, I'm there with him most of the time.
If I am on it, I recommend it.
We do some remote broadcasts sometimes on UGG TV.
Yeah, we do. Sometimes we have some guest scholars and people coming down, and we hope to have maybe, well, I don't know if we're going to have any snake handlers or not, but there wouldn't be nothing wrong with it.
No, as long as they count them before they leave.
Yeah.
Tally works out right.
Count them when they come in, count them when they leave, you know.
And then we'll go back in. You can you can sign up. Don't cost you a thing. Go watch it on the internet. You can hook up. You can follow us. That's what they call it, following us. That don't mean you run around with us or anything. You wouldn't do that, but. Or you can subscribe to the YouTube channel, and it will notify you when there's a live broadcast coming. That's just in case we have some late breaking development or something.
In case you don't want to see me twice doing the same thing.
Yeah, and you get them there in continuous rebroadcast, so you can mull over it and see what we said and hear it all over again, plus some special features.
You know, I always knew to give a condemned man his last meal.
Yeah.
How about the last cup of coffee?
You know what? They ought to save that for them condemned people. I hate to look a gift horse in the mouth, but that stuff is not got a lot of flavor. I like my coffee strong enough to take its part.
Well, you know, if it gets stronger, as long as the spoon will stand up in it, it's okay.
That's what I figured, but the spoon won't stand up in that.
But let me tell you about coffee. I got a coffee pot that holds a half a gallon of water.
Yeah.
And I make a full pot when I make it, you know. And I made a full pot the other day, and I turned around and hit that pot and knocked a half gallon of coffee grounds all over the floor, and I spent the next 30 minutes of mopping and cleaning up.
Well, at least you didn't have your foot under it.
Yeah, I didn't have my foot under it, and it wasn't hot yet. It hadn't even been put on the stove. So.
You know, I had a relative with somebody else. I never met the man, but once upon a time he imbibed a little bit too much and got locked up. And you know, he had breakfast down at the jailhouse. They asked him when he got home, asked him how it was. It was aggravating him. He said, well, the butter was so strong it went over and spoke to the coffee. and the coffee was so weak it couldn't speak.
That's about the truth. I've had all different shades of coffee down through my years. During the Second World War,
Had a lot of chicory, did you?
coffee was real hard to get, so you drink that old postum,
Yeah,
and you'd put some chicory in with it.
yeah.
And
Pretended like
sometimes
it's coffee.
it's strong enough to take top your hat off, you know.
Well, my daddy hated chicory.
Huh?
My daddy hated chicory.
Did he?
Yeah. You know, Louisiana coffee with chicory, you only use half as much.
Right, yeah.
They say. I don't know.
That's what we use, Louisiana.
Well,
And
JFG.
we got plenty of coffee and stuff during the Second World War because qualifying as a farm, we got extra food stamps. We had
Food stamps back then meant you got the paper, so it didn't mean you got it.
ration. They weren't food stamps, they were ration stamps. You had to have stamps to get new automobile tires, and you had to have, you only got so many ration stamps a month for gasoline. And of course for your other items that you needed, there was rationing stamps. So we always had plenty of stamps left over because we raised most of our food, and I'd trade them stamps off. I remember I traded about 5 or 10 pounds of sugar stamps one time for all the grapes I could carry in both arms riding a horse on.
TV.
Hey!
Hello.
Hey!
I don't know. TV.
Your phone is cutting me off.
Well, I know it's cutting me off too.
Yeah!
Buddy, I couldn't imagine living with either one of you guys. One too stingy to have a TV and he listens to the radio, and the other one has to have the satellite so he can see TV, wouldn't have Comcast cable. Why, you fellas always stay at your house. If you couldn't have a TV or a radio that would pick up.
Well, I guess you'll have to stay somewhere else then, because I ain't got television.
Yours are too stingy to pay the bill.
I don't. What is on television worth seeing? This is the only show I'd want to watch, and I can't watch it. I'm on it.
But you make tapes of it and you replay it and say I better look at it.
I
I
don't.
don't tell you, Duck Dynasty hasn't got a thing on us.
No, quack, quack. They just make more
Yeah,
money.
about $10, $12 million,
Yeah.
you know.
TV, I can't get TV.
You-
I don't have no computers and stuff.
You'll have to get your computer. You're missing out on all the good stuff.
.com or something or another.
No, it's .tv. UGTV.tv. Get
Well,
your.
shoot, that's on that screen. See, it's not on regular TV.
Well, I know that. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Well, I'm not smart enough to work one of them computers. I have to do it with a pencil or over the phone.
You mean to tell me you're not as smart as your grand youngins?
Going up 496, can't afford to write you.
Well, I don't know. We'll have a computer course. We'll teach you how.
Yes, no problem.
If you've got Comcast,
For a computer.
if you've got Comcast, you've got high-speed
I
internet.
would sit around just talking, that's teaching me nothing.
Well, you're just too hard-headed. What's wrong with
Do
you?
you realize by having Comcast that you're already hooked up to the internet?
I know it, but I can't afford to pay the internet bill.
Well, it ain't much.
If I had you guys' money, maybe I could.
If you had this guy's money, you'd be a starving.
Yeah,
You'd be
mine
drinking.
too.
You'd be drinking watered-down coffee that you bummed.
I'll make instant coffee in the microwave.
Well,
I can't
it'd have to beat some of this.
I can't walk in them.
Right.
I
as it is.
Good crap.
It's too cold to make trout.
No, it's not. That's when you want to make it. It won't boil over.
You have to set it by the stove.
Wintertime.
It won't ferment as cold as it is. It'll freeze.
Shoot, 40 miles is cold, but it's not that cold.
Well, you ain't been outside today, have you?
Yes, I am.
You need to go out and take a round the house, around a trip around the house, trip or two around the house, and see how cold it is.
Well, I went from the recliner to the kitchen and chopped some more, and put it in jars and chopped some more, went back and sat down.
I guess you got the cabbage out of the garden last week, didn't you?
No, I bought it for 25 cents a pound. I can't grow it for that price. The bugs eat it up. Take care, fellas, and be careful.
We'll see you. Thank you. Happy New Year.
Yeah. Happy New Year, hon.
I'll be smiling too.
Bye.
See ya. Happy New Year.
You know, there's a guy, I hadn't seen him in a year or two, but he used to come by. He raises 10 acres of cabbage
Why?
and comes through with a pickup truck just rounded up with cabbage head and sells them $1 a piece. And boy, they're good too. He goes out, cuts cabbage all morning, and gets out and sells them going down the road. But I mean, he ain't been, I didn't see him this year, but I wish he'd come back because that's pretty good stuff.
Why?
It ain't just the price of the cabbage that makes it so appealing. It's just fresh and crisp.
Right, yeah. There's good cabbage up here in this altitude, you know, and this up here in the mountains or semi-mountains, and it makes real. We used to grow good cabbage down where I come from, and my daddy raised about 5 acres of cabbage every year, and he said I'd have to take it up to town and give it away. You know, he sold it for something, but it was very, very, probably a penny or 2 cents a pound, something like that.
Well, you know, cabbage, if you have good cabbage, you have to get it out early before the bugs get on it.
Yeah.
That way you don't have to spray it to death. You just,
Right.
it grows before warm weather gets there, and it's good.
Right. Well, if you can control the insects and everything, you have a late cabbage crop.
Yeah, you can do it. You can do it. I tell you what, we used to grow some good icicle radishes in the
Right.
fall. Them things, some of them, they got a hot spot on them. They
Yeah,
start
they
eating on
have.
one end, and boy, it's good. You get down the other end before you realize you're on
That
fire.
make your eyes light up like Jimmy Carter's.
they're-
Oh, did you hear about the Gettysburg Address problem?
No.
Oh, you know, today is the 150th anniversary of the Gettysburg Battle of Gettysburg.
Okay.
The Gettysburg Address, which happened sometime after the battle was over. I believe it happened in,
Well, I thought they had that thing a while back.
no, they were talking about it, but the actual celebration, I think, was either today or yesterday.
Okay.
Well, CBS did a little, doing a little documentary, and they had asked 50, I believe it was 57 prominent people to read the Gettysburg Address. They wanted to record it.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay, did you see that? Now, did you see what Obama did?
He left out. He read one of the drafts that didn't have.
Under God.
Yeah. Under one nation, under God, can long endure. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
he left it out.
Right, he left out under God. Out of 57 people who read it, he's the only one left it out.
Well, he used a different draft, you know. They
Yeah,
said-
but that's the one they put in front of him. Actually, it was the teleprompter that left it out.
Yeah, that teleprompter gets
Yeah.
him in trouble. Can't count either. Told him there's 57 states one
Right,
time.
yeah,
Actually, he said there'd been 57. There's one or two they hadn't been to yet.
right. But you know,
Then they called George Bush
there's
doing
a
it.
lot of persecution going on throughout the world, not just here in the United States regarding Christianity. And it's a non-news item when they burned the churches in Egypt. They killed a bunch of Coptic Christians, they're Christians, in the Sudan when they massacred and killed a bunch of Christians. It's a, excuse me, it's a non-news item.
Coffee's gonna get us. I think they've strychnine this.
Huh?
Think they put any strychnine in that coffee?
Must have. So, you don't realize how Christianity is under persecution throughout the world, and especially here in this country. You know, I'm my 79th New Year's was last night. New Year's going to the dropping of the ball. We used to sit beside an old battery-powered radio and listen to the celebration in Times Square in New York City back in the 40s.
Yeah, we used to watch it on television by candlelight.
Yeah, they had television when I was a young man.
Well, we just had television by candlelight. We didn't have none of that electric
And
kind.
there was television, but I think television first come on somewhere around 1928, 1929.
I think they made the first experimental broadcast about 27, 28.
Yeah.
And of course that was a real rig they had going there.
Yeah.
They had a spinning wheel and everything.
Yeah, I know that, yeah. But we listened to the New Year's celebration on the radio back in the 40s.
Good TV.
Oh, TV!
You know what's wrong with that coffee, don't you?
What's
It
that?
left over from last night and somebody spiked it on
It
you.
left over from last year.
Bob's kept it since last night and somebody slipped something in it.
That's it. I wish they had it. I mean, I hate to knock something somebody give me, but they just needed something slipped in it. Needs a little coffee snuck in. You know, the best coffee I ever got was down at Burger King, and they quit making it like that.
Really?
That's the only good. I mean, I drink coffee because it's hot and it's coffee, and I never did have any I really liked the taste of. But there was a while down there at Burger King, they had good coffee. It was just delicious. And then it must have been costing too much to make it like that, and they went back to the regular process of making bad coffee like everybody else.
When I was a young man, I worked in a large cafeteria. And we had big coffee urns that we made. And when we started off, this was in college, they would put a good grade coffee in starting off, and then gradually they switched off some of that rot gut, you know, where when you put the coffee in the pot and the water and everything, you had to dump a handful of salt in there to get it slick enough to go down.
Yeah.
And I'm serious, they'd switch off that way.
In the middle of the day?
No, I'm talking about like first week or two, they'd have real good coffee, then they gradually switch off that old cheap coffee. And
Why did they do that?
because it was costing them less to buy than it was the better
Well,
coffee.
why did they go back to the good coffee every now and then?
No, they didn't, just at the start of each semester.
Oh.
Year.
Okay, it was
And-
college
Right,
cafeteria.
And in the food preparation room, they'd start off with fresh eggs.
Yeah.
They beat up fresh eggs and scramble them, and pretty soon they were dumping more and more powdered eggs
Yeah.
in with those fresh eggs, and so you got everybody kind of used to the gradual change, you know.
You still there?
Now she's gone.
I guess we ought to hang up then. See if this thing works. We're gonna take her phone tonight, ain't we?
Huh?
We're gonna take her phone tonight, ain't we?
Yeah, have to, yeah. It's ours.
I know it. Actually, it's mine. Try it again. TV.
Hey,
Hey, good evening, fellas.
hey, how are you?
Yeah, fine. I hope y'all are having a good year.
It's
Well, thank you.
looking wonderful, wonderful.
I've kind of been listening to some of the same stuff you're listening to, Bob, about how that the president left those two words out of his speech. Did you hear how that they gave out a copy of the speech to the man? What it was 58 people.
think that's pretty good.
There's an article in the paper today, from the TVA.
Yeah,
TVA, it seems their demand is down.
that's because of them solar panels,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
because of the solar panels,
Yeah, right, solar panels, that's what it is.
putting them out of business.
It mentions the solar panels in another article, two articles. But anyhow, the TVA's demand is down, which means, of course, they're bringing in less revenue, and they're trying to compensate some way so they don't have to start raising rates or whatever else. Of course, them TVA, anytime they go up, you know where it ends up at.
Yeah,
But they had an article in there on something we was discussing, and it had to do with the solar panels. They're paying the people with the solar panels 14 cents per kilowatt hour. Now,
Oh, that's
last time I
12.
checked, the city of La Follette, the city utility, or on our utility, we were only paying like a little over 12 cents per kilowatt hour.
okay.
Which means that I believe that they would be buying it for about 9 cents per kilowatt hour on the standard, if you figure an average markup. So the TVA is buying this stuff at somewhere, I guess, about 5 cents per kilowatt hour more than they're selling it for.
Yeah,
Now,
takes a big truck, don't it?
Yeah, it does.
like an awful, weren't happy that they're that the ratepayers are going to be paying this difference, which, if you get into depth, like what the school board and the county commission did here, they're buying a product. Actually, now we think we're selling to the TVA for 14 cents, which we are, but the ratepayers are the one that's paying up the difference. So actually, all we're doing, we're selling to the TVA, but we're making up the difference as to what we're getting back. It's crazy. We could, not only that, but we're paying the interest on the loan, plus what it does to the buildings,
Oh, it's a wonderful
and
deal.
everything else that we're paying, whereas we could be buying the electricity for 12 cents, and I'm sure we're paying a premium. The county may even be paying less. But this is the craziest thing there ever was.
Well, it depends on your viewpoint. It's smart for some people.
Well, we're paying interest on something, on like $2 million thereabouts, on something that it just makes no sense at all. Anyhow, gentlemen, there's a whole lot of things I thought today about making some resolutions. And then I found out that I don't have to make none. Because across this country, as of today, or whenever we turn 2014, the governments all over this country, states, cities, counties, you name it, passed in excess of 40,000 laws
Yeah,
that went into effect.
yeah. So we don't have to worry about nothing. They're gonna take care of all our problems.
There's
Yeah.
no point in us making any resolution, because I guarantee you they've made a law to cover everything that we'll do.
Yeah,
Hold on a minute.
okay.
Oh, gone. Hold on just a second. Okay, I've been watching you fellas on Ustream, and you're having a problem in your audio as well as your video. Your
yeah.
video is grainy and out, and the
Well, that's going on through, this place here,
distinguishable.
this place here they just don't do internet well at all. But this will be, I'll have it on,
I'm sorry.
I'll have this on Ustream. This show will be on Ustream tomorrow morning, or, yeah, I guess tomorrow morning. It'll be on YouTube after that. You can watch yourself again if you can see.
Okay.
No? No.
I'm not picking you up. I'm not hearing you.
You're not hearing us now on the phone?
Yeah, I am now, but it sounds like what we have where we're working to a voice-activated sound system is what it's sounding like, because when I speak, it kind of shuts you all off.
No, we're not having any any trouble on this end, but I don't know, this phone here ain't acting right. No, I bet the NSA is watching us.
Oh, well, yeah, well, I always call the NSA or try to contact them before I make a call.
You let them know you're getting ready to talk.
But anyhow, gentlemen, there is something that we should be very, very happy about, and that is the fact that as of today, somewhere along in the vicinity of 300 million people. Now, supposedly, according to something I heard the other day, we were going to hit the 300 million mark as of the first day of this year. So we have 300 million people who are now insured, or will be by March the 31st. So we got something we can be very happy about, that all of our insurance needs will be taken care of, all of our medical will be covered, except for those nuns out there. Their contraceptive thing, especially in 90-year-old ladies, they've opted out of contraceptives or whatever. Anyhow, we got a lot to be happy for, and I'm sure
Especially 9-year-old nuns.
Well,
Especially 9-year-old nuns.
yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. You know, if the rest of this act is written up the way this stuff is, we can see what we can expect. And when the people go to their doctor here, we'll be hearing as to how well it works. And I can just imagine, we can't even secure our border, yet we can cover or take care of the medical records or whatever of 300 million people. Now, whenever we think about this thing, or from what I've seen about it, or can understand, this is an amount of paperwork and whatever that's unbelievable. Whenever you take into account that many people, how many different ailments there is, the paperwork involved in keeping their records, plus their pharmaceuticals, there's no end to it. And the government's going to have to hire untold amounts of people. Now, here's another thing that crossed my mind, and I'd like to get an answer for this. If maybe one of your listeners out there can answer this. If the government, this is a federal law of the land, okay? Let's say that you don't sign up for insurance, okay? You're in violation of a federal law, which is going to be monitored or whatever by a federal agency called the IRS. Now, what is the government, how are they going to enforce this? And if they take
They're gonna put you in jail, buddy.
Well, yeah, okay, let's say they take you to court. Does that mean that you have to go to federal court?
Well, yeah,
As I understand it, and I've heard this today, they cannot collect the premiums for Obamacare unless they take it out of a tax refund that you're due.
yeah.
And so they cannot attach your checking account or savings account or any of your property, anything in payment for this medical insurance. And
Well, I thought it was interesting as to how, if it's a federal law, if it would be enforced, of course, the IRS is a federal agency, and if they can't enforce the thing.
Well, do you know how hard it is to repeal a constitutional amendment?
Oh my goodness. You don't.
Well, it turned out prohibition wasn't as good as they thought it was going to be, and they changed that there constitutional amendment. They repealed the 18th Amendment. Well, they're going to find out that this Obamacare is so scroungy, they're going to repeal it with a lot less trouble than it took to get liquor back in the homes.
yeah.
Well, the way this thing is being enacted in work, the president is making rules just by writing them down. He's not
Yeah.
making it before.
Well, he don't even write them down.
You know, they were bragging about the fact that 6 million people had signed up.
No, 2 million. 2 million.
I thought it was a total of 6 million.
They lost it. 6 million lost the insurance.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, and they're saying 2 million
Well,
signed up.
you know, that doesn't sound very good. When they were trying to get this thing passed, they said there was 30-some million people uninsured.
You know what?
You know, so if this is supposed to insure everybody, where's the other 28 million people?
Well, you got them other 6 that got kicked off, so you're up to 34 million now.
Yeah, sure.
You know, them 2 million ain't necessarily all got insurance. They just went there. But if they've
Well,
all
they have-
got it, how do we know that ain't 2 from that 6 that lost their coverage? We're still 4 in the hole.
What?
Gentlemen, we're talking about 300 million people, almost told, being coming up under an insurance system. And there's no way that I see that the government can operate this thing if you look at how they operate everything else. Maybe we can get some comments on this, gentlemen. Like I said, they may have to make any revolutions. They passed 40,000 laws, but I'm sure they'll cover everything I can find. Gentlemen, have a good one. I hope to see you back next week. You know, we'll make some of the
Well, I hope they leave the train at home next week.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you.
See you. You know, we need to thank our sponsors and tell them who paid for this foolishness.
Yeah. Well, I don't know whether that'd be good or not.
You know, we want to thank Dixie Concrete for being our sponsor all these years, and we want to highly recommend them and tell you that
Good people.
can't beat the service or the quality of product.
Good product, good people.
562-5656 if you want to call and talk to them, or in the concrete business. They were
Right.
selling concrete yesterday when I was down there.
Exactly right. They're in it so deep and heavy that the government even thought about breaking up their monopoly and bringing on a new
Yeah.
concrete business.
Just anything to, you know, kind of inflict a little pain. Dixie Concrete, folks, they got all sorts of concrete-related products as well as concrete.
Hardest concrete known to man.
And got complete septic systems. You just supply the fillings. And, you know, we already had that little commercial there for Vital Care, 562
9370.
9370, and they got one of their own board respirators. Is that what you call
Oh
it?
yeah, they got the only mobile
Yeah.
respirator in the county.
They got just a high quality operation, high quality people.
Right.
And they there to take care of you, and they're not government supported. They're supported by the customers that appreciate good quality service and continue to use that service.
You know, you see a lot of companies that got incorporated after it and LLC, but there's very few companies like Vital Care that has TLC after their name.
Yeah.
That's tender loving care, and that's what you get with Vital Care. You can call 911 and tell them you want Vital Care. Okay?
Unless your house is on fire, and then you might want to tell them you want the fire department.
If you can't remember the number for 911, call Ronnie down at 562-2676.
If you need any propane, now that's another one of our loyal sponsors and dedicated friends, and he does a lot for the community. I'm talking about Digger Von Wilson.
Von
Digger Wilson. He's quite active with the Shriners, and he donates a lot of time and effort and money to that organization just because he likes to help people, and he also likes to sell propane. He's down there right in the middle of the road, Sawmill Holler, 562-5444 for all your propane needs.
Exactly right. You better get down there tomorrow because the rain is supposed to turn into some snow late tomorrow afternoon. So you not only need to make a run on the bread and milk with the propane also.
We'll tell you about Napa in a minute.
Ugh, TV.
You ain't got it mashed down?
Ugh, TV. Hey,
Hello,
Hello?
how are you?
is this WQLA?
Right.
Is it who? Hello?
WQLA radio station?
Yes, it is.
Happy New Year.
I just want to know if the train posted from 8 to 9 in the morning.
It's a what?
What? Didn't understand.
Well, I'm sorry. You want to know what?
Is the train post on from 8 to
Oh.
9 in the morning?
I don't know. You've got this is the Wild Bob and Ronnie Show, and we're on the air right now. But if you'll hold on a minute, I'll go find out.
Okay.
Well, you are, but you hold on. We'll tell you what it's going to be.
Hang on.
Hold on. No.
I hope you're having a happy new year. Well, that's great. I've had a bunch of them. Yeah, we'll find out for you whether or not we're going on tomorrow.
As far as we know, it will be on tomorrow from 8 to 9.
Right, we'll be on tomorrow from 8 to 9, honey.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
you.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
See ya.
Well, we got us a victim there, didn't we? We
Right.
may have to start our own trading post
Yeah,
on the other TV.
right, we can do that.
We're going to have an extra phone.
Yeah.
I don't want that to go to
Now we're
think.
gonna plug two of them into one
Yeah,
line.
we just throw that in the creek. It's about had its.
Hey, I'm
Shot
gonna
it
plug
live.
two phones into one line.
Well, I don't know. You want to use my phone too?
Might as well. That's 562-267.
Yeah, I got some of the finest roofing down there and got some good sheetrock at a discounted price. And I got thinking, I got some more
Is
sheetrock.
that sheetrock what you got all wrapped up like Christmas weather?
No, that is some siding.
Is it?
Got vinyl siding, got butt boxes. I got to find out where the rest of my sheetrock's at. I got some more bought somewhere.
Oh, TV.
I tell
Hey.
you what I saw on the news, they've got that clinic for people that don't have any insurance that they've been working on up the old Powell Valley High School.
Uh-huh.
It's open and ready to go except the dental part, they said.
Well, I didn't know about that, but that's a good thing. But everybody's got insurance now.
No, everybody don't have insurance.
They have to have, or they'll go to jail.
Well, I don't think they can put anybody in jail for not having insurance. They can if you don't own your car.
I know, but it ain't, the law don't make it.
Insurance companies have took over the world anyway.
And the law don't say you have to have insurance on your car if you don't drive. It just says you have to have insurance on you if you live.
Everybody else drives your car.
Look, if you don't own a car, you don't have to have car insurance, do you? Well, you have to have health. You have to have health insurance if you breathe.
Get run over.
You have to have health insurance if you breathe.
Well, up at Powell Valley High School, they've got that clinic
Okay.
open, and they showed it on the Oxford News, and they supposed to be for people that's not got insurance, but I'm sure they would take insurance if you had it.
Well,
And it's open wide, and they showed it. Nice building, been refixed, and anybody that needs any help, they've got any health problems with their eyes, ears, whatever, needs to go to old Powell Valley High School.
is it there all the time?
Well,
Is it open every day?
Well, I wouldn't think it was open on Sunday.
Well, we need to get Bob's ears worked on.
yeah.
Well, they've got doctors to check everything, they said, except the teeth. They didn't have the dental part supplied yet.
We ain't got much use for that, do we?
No, no.
Well, it's not that far up there. It's not like going at about 3 in the morning, standing in line at one of these free clinics to get your teeth and eyes fixed.
Yeah.
So I wonder
Well, we'll
if
check
they
that
got
out.
that open up Powell Valley.
We'll check it out now we're unemployed, won't we?
Yeah, there we go.
I didn't say unemployed. They said anybody that didn't have
I
health
know, but me and Bob is about to be unemployed. We're gonna need all the help we can get.
Well, we're gonna have to sign up for whatever we can.
Then I'll be up there.
Well, okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey,
Oh,
well, you know, there's a couple of things I think here in the first of 1914 or 2014 that is worthy of mentioning. And one of the things that has come to mind is that back sometime, right many years ago, somebody made a decision to change the economy of this country from a manufacturing-based economy to a service-based economy. That was one of the most tragic mistakes that we have ever made in this country. I can remember as a young man that people all over the world bought things that was made in the USA. Whether it was automobiles, airplanes, appliances, radios, televisions, whatever it was, they were buying stuff made in the United States. Then I don't know what it's the environmentalists or who somehow got a hold of the economy and said we're going to change this from a manufacturing-based economy to a service economy where all we do is just trade our money back and forth around with one another, you know. And
you knew Santa Claus moved to China, didn't you?
well, yeah, I know, did you?
Yeah, that's where they're making all these toys, and he decided just to move over.
That's right, you know, and I didn't know China had any property north of the Arctic Circle.
Well, he moved, you know, to China. I think he's maybe the mountains of Tibet's kind of like his climate.
No,
But he,
I'm sure that because all of his toys are made in
Yeah,
China.
he figured
Used to, they were all made in the United States, you know. They brought a few manufactured items back, but the majority of people stuff that we buy today comes from China, Thailand, Pakistan,
Vietnam.
yeah, and places of that nature. Even one of our big three motor companies is owned by, that's an Italian consortium. It's owned by Fiat.
Fiat.
Yeah, and
Fiat.
I've seen a few of those new model Fiats running around town. Have you? Yeah, there's at least a couple here. I've been seeing the same one twice. He's been changing colors on
Let to Longmar called them Fiats.
yeah, and them Fiats.
Let to Longmar.
Yeah, and I had a Fiat one time, a rear engine Fiat that had a two-stroke engine in it. And if you could ever get that thing up on its RPMs, it would fly.
Well, now, I think that the Yugo had a Fiat engine in it.
May have.
Maybe it had something, it was some funky something. It's made out of a different part.
I had Peugeot engine in it.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, Peugeot.
Had a Peugeot engine in it.
Yeah.
And they you know, that was the only time that, I mean, we had General Motors went out of business in several different divisions and nearly the whole thing. And Studebaker went out of business.
Right.
But Yugo, the whole country closed up and left.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't beat that.
Well, they split it up. It's about like here where they split everything up among, I don't know how many restaurants, you know. And just so many dollars going to be spent on food every day. So what they do, they bring in another restaurant. That way each one of them gets reduced to the amount of money it's spent there. Yugo
had made these plastic door handles,
Yeah.
and the car would last 40, 50,000 miles, and the door handle lasts about 2 weeks, and they just made one for each door. They didn't make no spares. So every Yugo you saw had the door handle broke on it.
Well, that was the first disposable automobile.
Well, yeah, and back when I had a wife, her daddy was talking to her on the phone one time, and she was talking, and she said, Daddy, you got him a Yugo? I said, ask him if he needs a door handle. And she kept talking. She said, Daddy wants to know if you know where he can find the door handle.
I remember him real well. I sure do.
And they made that there Ford Fiesta. And that little
Ford Fiesta.
yeah, a Ford Fiesta, and it had a motor in it to just about the size of a good watch.
Right.
And it would get 52 miles to the gallon and would run for 400,000 miles and had a straight shift transmission that never did wear out. But the problem is that the floorboard rotted out of them at about 40,000 miles. So you'd see them going down the road and the carpet hanging out the bottom, but they just kept going. The motors and transmissions was there when the car rusted.
I had a Fiesta one
The
time.
car rusted and left, but the motor and transmission is still going as long as you keep a set of wheels and a seat hooked to it. I had, back when I was in the motor business, I'd get them used motors, and I had two of them little old Fiesta motors and transmissions, a complete unit, and you could just about pick them up and carry them.
Right.
But I never did sell not even not a bolt off one of them. They just didn't require any service. The only thing you ever needed for them was a piece of plywood to go in under your feet so you wouldn't drag your foot and hurt it.
Right.
Didn't need
Yeah, I
no
had
brakes
one
so
of
you
those-
could drag
I had
your
one
boot.
of those before the floorboard rotted
Now,
out.
there's a Fiesta and a Festiva. This was a Fiesta.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yes, I had one, and I went to work for the Volkswagen motor company, and traded that thing off. I was going to trade it for a Volkswagen Rabbit.
Yeah.
Okay? And I was so convinced that the Rabbit was so much better car, which it was, you know. And but I didn't get it traded for a Rabbit. I traded that thing. I forget what I traded it for. But I got a different vehicle. But it was running fine when I let it go.
Well, them Rabbits had about the same motor as a Dodge K car,
Right, yeah,
and they had an 8-speed transmission in them.
yeah,
They had a 2-speed, 4-speed,
right,
because it was a transaxle. They had a
Right.
2-speed transaxle and 4 speeds on
yeah.
the shifter. And it may have been I think it was an 8-speed. It may have been a 10-speed, 2 5s, but I think it's 2 4s. But some of them old cars that people didn't think much of, and that there Fiesta was made south of the border somewhere. I don't know if it was Mexico or Venezuela, but it was down there Summers.
Argentina.
I don't think it may have been, but I kind of think it was Mexico. But that's where GM was making their, and I don't know about now, but used to you could buy a new 350 replacement engine, new now, brand new, still in the crate. I was buying them one time for about $1,200 a piece, I think. And well, they had oil. All you had to do was just drop a distributor in them and light them. They didn't have a carburetor. They had the intake, but didn't have a carburetor and distributor. And had oil in them, ready to go though. Already primed and been checked. And they were made in Mexico.
Yeah.
Every one of them. I wish I had 2 or 3
Well,
of
like I
them.
say, we used to make what we bought, what we sold.
Yeah.
We made the replacement parts, and we made a quality item regardless of what it was. And then this decision was made, kind of like Campbell County made the decision not to bring any jobs in here unless it was some type of service position or it was had something to do with tourism. And that's been the philosophy here in this county for many, many years. And it's so ingrained that people don't even know how to think outside of the box anymore.
You know, and little did they realize that the first thing to go south with the economy is tourist trade.
Sure.
Napa Auto Parts has got some parts. If you need one of them, that's NAPA 5629
379
9406 down there across the road from the IGA, and they got all sorts of stuff to help you get your car on the road in this cold weather.
Yeah, they got whatever you need. They got good deals on complete oil change packages. That's 5 quart oil and an oil filter.
Got batteries.
And yeah, and you can get, you know, if you still need to add a little bit of what's that stuff you put in your radiator?
Antifreeze.
Antifreeze.
They got brake fluid if you need to put